hey, this is a Griffin-88, and YouTube is still being a poop and won't upload my videos quickly. It keeps saying like 390-something minutes. So the internet connection here, I mean, it's just that bad. Which is weird, because I can play games on it, but I can't upload a video. I guess if any of you tech-savvy guys know how to fix this, it would be much appreciated. But until then, I have to stick with this format as ideas come to me, which is kind of nice. I might end up sort of spitting out ideas like this from time to time. But I really wish this would have been a finished video. Simply, I mean, like the lunar one is when we talk about lunar, it's still going to be a finished video because you're really going to need examples for that. For this one, considering it's a big thing, I'm just going to talk about it. So I'm watching The Dark Knight, well, really, I'm watching Batman Begins on pay-per-view, because it was the only thing on, you know, preparing for The Dark Knight Rises, it really makes me think David Finch's The Dark Knight is the example I use the most when telling people about my theory, about my quote-unquote thesis on how manga has affected us. Affected us meaning affecting comics, affecting Western comics. It's a direct influence, and you can see that the clearest in Batman. Let's go back to the 1960s. Adam West is playing Batman on TV, and I don't know the guy who played Robin. I heard him on NPR, actually. Adam West was on NPR a few years ago, and he says that he's still in touch with the guy who played Robin, and that Robin apparently raises Great Danes now, somewhere in, like, Northern California. So that's a fun fact you can tell your Batman friends. But anyway, so, 1960s, Batman is played by Adam West, and if you've ever seen any of the 1960s Adam West Batman films, they're funny. I mean, Adam West is making jokes, like, I forget, he makes, you know, it's like he's holding a bomb, it's like, you know, it's like, you can never find a place to put a bomb, you know, it's you know, running into, like, all these people, he's like, oh, yeah, you can't put it down anywhere, and it's funny, it's comical, and it's so starkly different from the Batman we see today. I mean, Adam West's Batman is more likely to tell, you know, he's going to tell Robin, is this from a picture I saw somebody done a picture, and I saw it on Main Base's superhero section, which I check daily, because I'm a nerd like that. But, so it's a picture, you know, it's like 1960s, you know, Adam West Batman saying to Robin, it's like, brush your teeth, you know, it's like, brush your teeth every day, and Robin's going, you know, holy hygiene, Batman, and then it's like, you know, Batman today is like Dark Knight Batman, by David Finch. It's saying it's like, police, you know, the police are corrupt, the government's corrupt, you know, it's like there's criminals everywhere, you know, this place is terrible, and Robin's just like, it's like depressing, and it's so starkly different. And the reason for that is, in 1997, Pokemon arrives in the United States, and it booms. I mean, that thing, it's like a bomb going off, but it's like a really friendly bomb full of rainbows and kittens, and awesome animals you can battle. And with Pokemon comes the Pokemon anime. And with that anime comes a flood of Japanese media, because they realized how much kids were glomming onto Pokemon and Digimon, you know, regrettably. I don't like Digimon, face it. They ripped off of Pokemon. Face it. But, yeah, so with that, we got Cowboy Bebop, which reminds me, I'm not sure if I said this in another video or not, or if I said that in the commentary I did for Shortero, but, I remember going to see Pokemon 2000 when I was a kid in the theaters, and I heard this kid, you know, he's like, the kid went to go see the Cowboy Bebop movie. I hadn't heard of Cowboy Bebop. Years down the road, I ended up watching Cowboy Bebop because it's Cowboy Bebop, and it's a classic, and there's so much sex and drugs and violence in it. I'm like, where are your parents, kid? God, and I wonder what happened to that kid. Because, I mean, wow. I would not have let my 12-year-old watch Cowboy Bebop. I mean, regardless of how much she actually got of it, but that's Cowboy Bebop. So anyway, so we're talking about the Japanese invasion. So with that you get, Miyazaki's Princess Mononoke is finally released as in English dub in the United States. Princess Mononoke, for those of you who don't know, is regularly the dark horse of Miyazaki's movie career. It is violent. It is bloody. It has gods, it has demons, it has the iron industry, it has deforestation, it has a girl raised by wolves, the last remaining prince of a nation that's been, eradicated in some sort of genocide. It's got all these mature themes. It's got everything but boobies. It's, it's got everything but, like, naughty bits. Pretty sure he was very close to putting those in. And it's notorious for being the most mature Miyazaki movie to ever hit the screen. And the copy is not produced by Disney simply because of that, because of the blood. I mean, yeah, like, you see it, and it's terrible, but it's also, it's realistic to a certain point. It's realistic, like how, it's like a little more realistic version of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So it's like, you don't really have people flying through the trees, but you do have some impossible feats of, like, of archery. But I guess you can explain it that way because he sort of has demon powers, but I'm not going to give that away because it's a top-notch film, it really is. And it was really popular with kids my age back then, the college age, who really started bringing all this stuff in. They really created the market to generate the sort of generation before me, the kids who were in college while I was still watching Pokemon, really liked the mature theme, so you got more mature themes coming in. Akira became popular for the first time. Akira had been released in the United States in 1980 and in the 1980s, and hadn't received any good criticism. It's simply because people weren't ready for it. But Pokemon comes along, and then you get the people who want more mature stuff, and they see Akira, and they're like, we love Akira. It's like, bring us more Akira stuff like that. And so they do. And you get things like Gray Man, Vampire Hunter D, what is some other stuff from Alex, my personal favorite, and Black Butler, all these things coming in. Yeah, and then a couple stuff like Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor Sakura, things like that. Well, Sailor Moon reached a second boom. Sailor Moon had actually been around since the 80s and had popularity because it could be shown adjointed to Rainbow Bright, which I like. I like Rainbow Bright. I like talking horses and unicorns and Pegasuses and things like that because I am a girl. And I like to indulge my girl side once in a while. But anyway, so that's why Sailor Moon is popular. But yeah, no, so people wanted more mature themes, and Batman the way it was in the 60s, and then it had sort of been that same way up until the 90s. I mean, sure, he wasn't really making those jokes anymore, but it was still, it still wasn't as heavy with the themes as, God, the microphone? Okay, I think the volume's okay. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna start this over, but I thought my headphones were still plugged in, and it looks like what I can see from here, it's working. But, so Batman couldn't compete, and so, almost none of DC could compete. Marvel could easily compete. Marvel had been killing people for years. But in the Marvel Universe, when you kill somebody, it's kind of like dying in a Western RPG. You always have a Phoenix down. You always have an elixir of life, or you can see a healer. There's always some way to bring somebody back to life. So it's like, we'll kill you for now, but we always have the means to resurrect you, through whatever we can scuttle up. But in the DC Universe, nobody really died because they'd never really been into resurrecting people. But now what we see, like in the Marvel Universe, the way the Marvel Universe combated it was that they had a civil war over it. The civil war between, about the superhuman registry, which left none other than Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin, one of Spider-Man's #1 enemies, in power of the Dark Avengers. I love the Dark Avengers series. I really wish there was more. It's almost sitcom the way Venom and Bullseye play off each other. And then you have Daken, who's just like a dick. Novar, who is hot. And then Moonstone, who's like a total bitch. And Songbird is like bitch number 2. She's like Sabrina the teenage bitch. But yeah, that's a Robot Chicken joke. But that's the way they combat it. Oh, and they kill off Captain America, and then Peter Parker actually followed a few years later. Peter Parker in the Marvel Universe sort of just died, and they got this new kid being Spider-Man. I've never really gone on to that. I've always been a fan of Peter Parker, and I really wish you hadn't done that. Captain America, I'd never been that attached to, so I didn't really care that much, you know. Yeah. So that's what they come out of it. And then they had Siege, which brought Tony Stark back into power, and so they flipped it like, okay, you know, it's like, sort of like showing, yeah, it's like, yeah, we can do this. But with Captain America's death, Marvel really sort of showed that we're going to start killing people, and they might stay dead. Captain America's not coming back. Captain America's gone. I mean, Steve Rogers is Captain America. He's gone, man. And, you know, it's like, that just sort of hits you. It's like, wow. You know, because it's like, you could say it's like somebody died, but then, like, people still have horrible injuries, but then you always have, like, Stark Tech or Osborn Tech, which would, like, bring them back, or through some other sort of, you know, way. And then, of course, in the DC Universe, they started killing people. I think one of the Rambles was beaten to death by a crowbar. I heard that rumor. I haven't had a chance to verify it. If that's true, that is ballsy as hell for DC, who really does not like killing people. In the DC Universe, if you do something bad and you get stopped by the Super Friends or, you know, any other superhero, you get sent to jail. You don't die. You know, whereas in the Marvel Universe, they would, like, impale you or something. You know, it's like, or kill you, or sometimes arrest you. Like, the Thunderbolts would arrest people. But, you know, it's like, or you would die through some sort of accident circumstance, like your airplane crashed, you know, because it was damaged during the battle or something. But, DC's never really been fond of killing people. As far as I know, I haven't, like I said, I haven't had a chance to study it in depth, but as far as I know, DC Universe usually just gets sent to jail. Supposedly DC Universe people don't like killing. Which is understandable. Killing is wrong, even if you're a bad, you know, even if it's killing a bad guy, I guess. But, the way, DC now is combating that, though, is, you know, like I said, the rumor one of the Roms, you know, beaten to death by crowbars, which is just, it's terrible, man. I mean, yikes, you know, that sort of scares me, thinking, it's like, you know what they say, it's like, it's always the quiet ones. And, yeah, there goes DC, it's like, wow. But, so David Finch really sort of helped turn the tides to that. I'm not really sure what's going on with Superman. Last I heard, they were doing something about his teenage years, and the article I read used the word Twilight in, as in the books, adjunction to that, which made me sort of pissed off, because if you're going to make something sound good, don't, you know, use that. But yeah, no, like I said, yeah, there's a Batman, the perfect example. It's like, when themes started, it's like when manga started coming in, getting more mature, how did they react? Deeper, darker, brooding Batman. You know, he's no longer, it's like, you know, Batman, he's Batman with a deep voice, you know, Christian Bale angry. Yeah, you know, and the Joker being crazy as hell. I mean, wow. Scary as shit, man. I mean, and he's just, you know, he was perfect in that part. He really was. And so crazy, so unpredictable, so gnarly. And of course, Harvey Dent, the way they did his face, you know, the villains are scarier. I mean, Batman Begins, the Scarecrow, one of my favorite villains, actually, only because he sort of reminds me of, who was it? Was it Benjamin from Lost? Yes, he's the little guy who you always probably picked on in class, anxious to be a suspected murderer, but he's not exactly strong, and, you know, he uses, you know, extra circumstances, and I always like trippy scenes. I would never like to be tripping out on one of his, you know, medicines, but, you know, I like the scenes, you know, it's like, and he just always fascinated me as a character, but, yeah, no, so it's like the deeper, darker side of Batman, and Dark Knight is still going on, which means I will have to read it. The last time I saw Batman, he was hanging out with Hellboy, in a crossover, which was fun. I kind of wish he had been in there more, but it was really more about Starman. who I guess was Mike's fate. I guess was the crossover Mike really wanted to do. But Batman was in there, and that was pretty cool. You know, he got to chat with Batman. So I guess if I was ever to write a crossover, yeah, like that's gonna happen, I would have to do it for DC. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm currently more of a Marvel person, but I do know some DC stuff, and I'm trying to get more into it. Precisely to study this phenomenon that Batman became deeper and darker because of manga. So this is the Griffin-88, and that was a very long-winded way of making that point. I will get back to you with better, more polished videos, probably when I go back to school and have a better, like an actual Ethernet connection that's gonna upload something, at least within an hour. So, yeah, this is the Griffin-88, and I'll see you at The Dark Knight Rises. I'm going to a midnight showing. Toodles!